All right, folks, welcome. It is Monday night. It is time for another live Q&A. And as always, if you're new here, we're going to be answering all your drone questions, hopefully in the next hour. So leave them in the comments. Jason is in the back room over there taking a look at all the questions. I see already a bunch of them on my screen right here. And other than that, yeah, what else? What is new? What else is new? We spent a little bit of time today designing our learning management system for some new features that we've been working on, which is kind of exciting, although that's on the airplane side, but still. And then what else? We had a big survey. Thank you all for submitting the survey last week. We were supposed to have a meeting with some important people. Meeting, unfortunately, did not happen, but we are not giving up just yet. So we're hoping that we can get the meeting rescheduled. In the meantime, we capture a ton of good data. I would say actually probably the largest data set in history on this issue with DJI ban. So we have a lot of good information. I spent the weekend going over. There were 8,000 submissions. I don't know if you realize 8,000 is a ton. 8,000 submission gives us the ability to do statistical analysis on this thing and have 99% confidence that the data can be extrapolated to the rest of the industry, which means that we can basically say that the data that we get is conclusive, is statistically significant. And the data is everything and anything that you expected from this potential ban on DJI, or this potential ban on future models of DJI, I should say. And we're working on a video. We'll have it ready by next week, around middle of next week. It's a lot of work. We've got a lot of cool graphs, a lot of cool animations that we're going to show you. I'm finishing the script right now. So I'm kind of pumped about this. Thank you again for everybody who submitted the data. I was looking at it live as it was coming through. I had a Google spreadsheet that had all the results coming in, and it was one every 2 or 3 seconds when we started sharing this stuff. So it's cool. It's good to see the community, giving that feedback. I think it's going to be very helpful, and hopefully people listen now, because this is really the only source of data. We haven't seen a single survey being done on this by, I'm going to call them the competition. They're not the competition, but by the lobbyists that are pushing for these bans. They haven't done a single survey. They haven't captured any data. They probably don't have the data set anyway to do this. They don't have the following to do this. But we did, and now we have actual real data that's going to tell us exactly how this is going to affect this industry in the next several years, because it will. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be sharing this with you guys. Again, thank you for submitting it. And let's say hi to a bunch of folks. I should be putting my computer here so we don't block the lava lamp, right? And except it's awkward now. There you go. All right. Let's say hi to Thorold Inspired. We have Curtis Warren. Richard Hooker is here. We have, let me see, James Cox, AFWAZ. We have Thumb Drone, Dave DeVore, Eric Refschneider, Just Johnny, Lee Briley. Ralph is here. Mondo Sky Vision. Let me see, Drone Angles, Cajun Greenman, Dr. Gonstead, Drone Angles. We have, who else? Minnesota Vance, Jim Schlusselman is here. Jillian, our own Jillian from the community. Steve A. Dragonitsi. We have Joshua Kamen, Cloud Camper. Let me see, I'm repeating names here. Engineer Drone Services, that's our friend Minot. We have, who else? Sergio De La Garza is here, as always. Joshua Kamen, I said that already. Hockey Fan is here. And no, that's not Sparky. It's a different hockey fan. Well, I don't see Sparky, but I know Sparky is a big hockey fan. He used to work in the hockey world. Luis Perez, Sawtooth Hiker, Stinker 337, Old Man Droning, Just Johnny, I think I said that. I don't see Mark Saxon, Anoke Boomer. I think I've said that already. I'm repeating myself. I'm like Anoke Boomer. Luis Perez. I think it's just jumped. Av Geek Joe. Hike and Fly. Bem 1962. Sir In Moon is here. We have Grateful Acres. Drone Tycoon. I think I've said everybody. I don't know if I can say that one. Lacmusarus. Some of the names, Google doesn't, YouTube doesn't give me the full name anymore. They just give me the username, and sometimes it's hard to read. Anyways, thanks again for being here. WT Drone is here. STL Woodworker, Don, UAS Cindy, Cincy, UAS Cincy. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get to the questions. I'm rambling. Whoop, whoop. Right here. What do you think of the Brink confession to being behind the DJI ban? I mean, it's not really a surprising thing. We actually interviewed the CEO of Brink a couple of years ago on Pixel, the Pixel drone show. We used to do that with Haya, and used to interview people, a variety of people in the industry, and he was one of them, Blake Resnick. And I mean, the discussion was pretty clear that they were looking to push DJI out. We've known for a long time that they've spent money to do that. I don't think they've ever hidden the fact that they wanted to do this. So it's not surprising to me. It's an interesting angle. The one thing that might be surprising is them coming out to do this when we know how much the DJI ban is going to affect public safety agencies. In the survey, actually, one of the number one group that is going to feel this, is already feeling this, is public safety agencies, and they're clear about this, that they are worried about it, that they are being hurt by this already. And so I'm surprised that Brink would be so vocal about it, thinking that maybe it's going to get them customers. I think that, quite frankly, it's the opposite. I think it hurts your image to do this. I mean, we've seen what's happened with Skydio and their image based on the things that they've done towards this ban as well. So I don't think it's a good publicity stunt personally to be very vocal about this, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Mondo Skyvision says, pass my 107 test. My exam had 10 extra questions. Have you heard of this before? Not 10, it's 5. So 5 extra questions. It's 65 questions instead of 60. That's been going on for a long time. We mentioned that in the course. They're testing 5 of those questions. So 5 of the questions that you get don't count towards your final exam. And they're using them to see if those are questions they want to add to the database. You don't know which one are the 5, but yeah. So they started doing this a couple of years ago. I would like to. This is Lee Briley. I would like to know if the recreational part of if the recreational part of the 107 is so small and almost impossible to use without breaking it. I don't understand. I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. I don't know if the question was broken down into 2 things, but I don't know if you're asking about the fact that, so you can fly recreationally under Part 107. All it means is you're following Part 107 rules to fly recreationally. You can do any flights under Part 107, let's put it this way. But if you want to use the exemption, the 44809, the carve-out exemption that requires trust and all of that, then you have to pick a CBO, you have to do trust, you have to follow the 7 or 8 rules that are on the FAA website. But yeah, I don't know that I understand the question beyond that. Does it make sense to fly recreationally under the recreational rules rather than flying recreationally under Part 107? That might be the question. If that's the case, I don't think it is. I don't think I've ever done a recreational flight under recreational rules in my life because I think it's easier to just follow Part 107 because the rules are more laid out and easier, I think. There are more rules, but the rules are more laid out. There's less gray areas, but that's just me. Next question. Drone Zone says, all drones must be registered except ones that are sub 250 gram flown recreationally. That's correct. Drone Zone says, all drones must be registered except ones I described. That's correct. However, elsewhere it says all drones. Why is this all repeated? All drones must be marked with a registration number. Please clarify. Only those drones that are registered need to be marked with a registration number. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. If your drone does not need to be registered, aka if it's sub 250 and it's flown recreationally, it does not need to have a registration number on it because you wouldn't have one because the drone would not be registered. So all drones that are registered must be marked with a registration number. Let's put it this way. I believe a video that Pilot Institute put out later in November or early December, it said Greg was the co-owner of Pilot Institute. Who is the other co-owner? And did I not hear it correctly? Actually, the other co-owner is visiting here today. He's behind the wall, right behind me. The other co-owner is Johan. He doesn't really care to be on camera all that much. He's involved with, he's our chief technology officer, so he does a lot of the back end. He's also involved, he's the original chief marketing officer, still pretty involved with the marketing side of things. So he's typically behind the curtains. The reason why you see me a million times in your Google ads and in your YouTube ads is because of Johan, the other co-founder. And he's also a private pilot, and he's loves the tech side of things. So that's what he typically does. He has, yeah. And if you're on the community on premium, if you're on premium, there's a couple of videos with Johan where he explains his craft, which is, like I said, mostly the marketing side of things, where he helps you with, building your website and helps you with building your logo and all the things that he's really good at. So you should take a look at it. Whoop, whoop. Next. Are there any gas-powered drones? If so, what are the licensing requirements? There are some also that are kind of hybrid with non-electric type of power. No specific licensing requirements. It's a UAS, it's an unmanned aircraft, and as such, you just fly it under Part 107 or under recreational rules. But yes, they do exist. Now, I have to admit, on the multi-rotor side of things, not as available. I'm trying to think of a gas-powered multi-rotor. I've seen hydrogen-powered multi-rotors, but not gas-powered. There are many fixed-wing aircraft and helicopter RC that are gas-powered, though, on the other hand. How do you think Rotor Riot FPV drones stack up against a DJI FPV drone? Different world, okay? How am I going to say this? The DJI FPV is going to be more of a assisted drone, FPV drone, meaning that it has GPS and it has the ability to, pause in flight and hover if you need to. Let's put it this way. I'm trying to find a good analogy. The DJI FPV is the automatic gearbox, and the Rotor Riot FPV is a stick shift. That's the difference. One of them is going to need a little bit more skills to drive it, or let's put it this way. DJI is the EV, which has basically one pedal, hardly a brake, and it's just, after you think about gears, it's just going to fly kind of very easily. The Rotor Riot is definitely going to require more skills to fly it. You don't have the altitude hold. You don't have all of the fancy things that are behind it that are going to help it not crash. I think that's, the best way that I can put it. Not so, and there's not a right or wrong answer, by the way, on this. It depends on what you're hoping to accomplish. The Rotor Riot type FPV drone, and take Rotor Riot out of the picture, just a custom-made FPV drone that you build at home. You're going to crash it, you're going to fix it, you're going to fly it again, you're going to crash it, you're going to fix it, you're going to fly it again, and then you're going to own your skills as you do this. FPV drone is going to be harder. The DJI FPV is going to be harder to fix, but it also, I think, makes it more attainable for people to fly FPV at first. Personally, that's how I learned to fly FPV. I flew it at 200 feet, put it in acro mode and just full acro and just flew the drone. And if something happened, you have the oh shit button on the side. That's what I call it. You hit the pause button and then it stabilizes the drone, holds it, gives you a minute to kind of catch your breath. You didn't crash it. Then you can go and repeat. So it's got a bit of a safety net if you want. I hope that makes sense. Joshua says, has anyone found a set of landing gear that works with the Skyrover X1? Nope, I have not heard of that. So, yep. Luis Perez says, my Air 3S shows me this message: geozone nearby, flight restriction in effect. Entering this area may interrupt automatic RTH and cause aircraft to hover or exit intelligent flight. How can I fly this if I can? I mean, you can fly it manually. It's just saying that you're near a flight restriction that... So here's what I would do. I would definitely look at the map and see where you are, because chances are you're pretty close to an airport and you might be close to an area where even DJI doesn't want you to go fly. So I would, I would be very careful for sure. Take a look, make sure that you don't need approval, make sure that you can actually fly in that area. And that's what I would say. Good to be here. Any update with the ban? Looks like time is fast approaching, December 23rd. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it. I don't think anything is going to change between today and December 23rd. I think on December 23rd, we are going to see the inevitable, which is DJI being added to the FCC covered list, which means that DJI is not banned. DJI's future models will not be approved by the FCC. There's a difference. I know it sounds like there's not, but there's a difference. It means that you will continue to be able to fly your DJI drone that you have in your hand at the moment, and you just won't be able to see any new DJI models sold in the United States, which is kind of where we've been for the last, 6 months, 8 months since the Mavic 4 came out. So Mavic 4, Neo 2, Mini 5, all these models got basically the treatment that we're going to get now with future model, except they won't be able to be approved. We didn't see that the 360, the Avata 360 was approved by the FCC last couple of days. So that's one that's probably officially the last DJI model that will be approved by the FCC until this is reverted by someone. But yeah, that might be the last model before, that's it. So that's basically what it means. That's where we are with this. There is nothing else, nothing more, nothing less than DJI being added to the covered list and not being able to get new models approved in the United States. Will you be able to purchase these drones? It's going to be more difficult for sure because they don't have FCC approval. So I don't know if sellers on Amazon are going to take the risk of selling these drones that are not FCC approved on Amazon. I don't know. We'll see. That I don't have the answer. We'll see what happens. Are we going to go from a gray market to a black market? Probably. So yeah. Do you think we will get a release of the Avata 360 before Christmas? So I think what's going to happen is based on rumors that we've seen, the Avata 360 should be released by DJI before Christmas. Will it be sold in the United States? I don't think so, at least not in the DJI store. So I think it's going to be the same story basically that we've seen for the Mavic 5, that we've seen for the Mini 5, what did I say? Mavic 4, Mavic 4, Mini 5, and the Neo 2. DJI is not going to sell these drones in their store. They're going to let third-party vendors from Korea or wherever they're sending them from to sell those. And so I think that's what's going to happen with this one. But I think we're going to see the same language that we've seen. There's no reason why DJI would change that. They're just not going to be officially available in the United States in the DJI store. That's kind of the official language that DJI has been using. It doesn't mean it's not available from somebody else. It just means it's not available from DJI. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Next. One more time on the Lens program you recommend for both the desktop and Android system. I wrote down, but through the paper out. That would be a Loft Air Control. That's what I would recommend. Yeah, nothing much more to say. It's available as an app. Yeah, that's it. It was great. It was great chatting with you today. This is from Sawtooth Hiker. Same here. Had a great meeting talking about cool drone stuff. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Mike from Las Vegas. Would most customers for construction mapping, like progress mapping, want RTK capable drones? RTK is not a requirement necessarily. There are other ways to do this. There are ways to get accuracy by using ground control points and other things. So no, it's not a necessity. And it's an option. Let's put it this way. Best placement for the remote ID module on the Mini 4 Pro. I bought the small battery and I just got my Part 107, so I need to broadcast. I would put it right on top of the battery compartment on the drone itself so that it doesn't cover anything in the front, and because there's not much going on between the battery and the top of the battery, so on that little piece of plastic right up there. December 23rd approaching. Do you think that we will have any problems getting batteries, props, and other OEM products from DJI? I think no more problems than we've had in the last couple of months. That's not necessarily good news, but remember that December 23rd being added to the that list, the covered list, only affects future model. It does not affect models that have already been approved by the FAA, by the FCC. And so the issue with getting parts right now is actually unrelated to the FCC ruling. It's related to the CBP, the Custom and Border Patrol and Border Protection. I always said Border Patrol, but it's Border Protection. I found that out today. So it's all related to the CBP blockage, which is a completely separate issue. So that's, it's kind of where we are. Bought the Skyrover X1 and S1 this past Black Friday. Seems like Amazon no longer have any Skyrovers. Interesting. Any idea what might be going on? Idaho Quadcopter reported the same thing. I don't know. This is kind of, I had seen somebody online talking about this, but I haven't had a chance to look into it. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat has some information on that. I may be behind, but drones that leave from a dock, does the PIC need to be on site or can they fly from a remote location? It depends on the approval, but most people that install a dock get the proper paperwork to be able to fly that thing remotely. So be able to be from a remote location flying the drone beyond visual line of sight, basically. What do you know about DJI Manifold 3? Also, can I use the FAA seal on my website? That's a big no. Part 107 compliant, not certified. Nope, you cannot use the FAA seal anywhere on your website. They will, if they find out, they will send you a cease and desist, and you don't want that. Manifold 3, we haven't had a chance to play with it. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with that one, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely don't use the FAA stuff on your website. Ordered a Mini 5 Pro from Amazon. I plan to use my RC2 for the controller. Not sure which market is the source of the Mini 5. Do I have to worry about foreign restrictions, distance, altitude? Nope. I don't think you have to worry about restrictions. When the drone is sold, it's sold as a DJI drone, whichever market you're in. So you're fine as far as all of that is concerned. What's the easiest way to move from using a motion controller on the Avata to using the FPV Remote Controller 3? Practice. I mean, if you've only ever used a motion controller, it's definitely going to take a little bit of transition to do that. So I would say practice in the simulator. You can download the simulator on from DJI for the FPV, and then just practice. I was going to say something else, but yeah, that's kind of it. When do you think we will see solid-state batteries in commercial-made drone? I think we're a little ways from that. I think it's not spread enough at the moment, the tech. But yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one to predict. Anyone ever purchased DJI off of Alibaba? I have not. Maybe that's a question for other folks in the community. We can still purchase the current approved model after 12/23 and continue to fly them. Correct. Yes. Everything that has been approved by the FCC is still going to be available for purchase, and you're still going to be able to fly them. Absolutely. Can I fly a Mavic Pro with the RC2 controller. I'm guessing you're talking about the original Mavic Pro. If that's the case, then no. You're going to need to have the original RC, I think it was called the RC Pro controller back then. The original Pro controller, which is the black controller, the version 1.0. Wishful thinking, but do you think that you could convince Elon Musk to use his finances to start up an American version of DJI to help speed up the American-made component drones? Good question. We've kind of talked about this in the office, not about convincing him because I don't have a channel to him, but he's the kind of guy that goes after big projects, right? If you look at the EV market, if you look at SpaceX, if you look at AI, these are all big markets. The drone world is a niche market. DJI, I don't know what they're valued at right now, but it's, several dozens of billions of dollars, which pales in comparison with, and maybe I'm wrong actually. What's DJI valuation? Let me do this first before I say something stupid. 15 billion, yeah, which is small in comparison to, what SpaceX valuation is, which is $100 billion. So I think to convince somebody who's worked on big projects like this, my guess is that he would be more interested in getting into this space for competing with Anduril, maybe, where you have contracts with the US government, which pays a lot more money. So if this is just my personal opinion, I see him as somebody who would get involved with big ticket items rather than small ticket items like what DJI is doing. Although I hate to say $15 billion as a small ticket item, but you understand what I mean. Just my take on this. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. How is the new drone slump affecting your friends doing reviews and testing content? I think we have all noticed a drop in views on YouTube content in general. Not us so much, because the content that we create is a lot of it is news based, right? With our news updates, and we haven't done a ton of reviews lately because we haven't been able to get those drones early. But I've noticed, I've seen other people in this space that are solely based on, have views solely based on this, and the views are down. There is no question. I think everybody's a little bit worried about what's going on here in this space. So, yeah. Yep. But for us, it hasn't really changed the number of views. Actually, I hate to say it, but we do get even more views when we talk about the DJI band because it's something that people are interested in, which I kind of hate, but it is the nature of the beast. Is there a UAS-based company you would recommend that makes a mini-style drone or a do-it-yourself kit to start with, since DJI products may be done with? No, not really. That's the key, is that there is not really a mini provider out there. I mean, the Sky Rover X one was the most recent alternative, which we all know is the equivalent of a Mini 4, but there is not really any of that. Anzu is doing Mavic 3 drones out there with licensing from DJI, but it's not a DJI drone. And that's on the enterprise side of things. So if you need an enterprise and you're needing that tech, that's what I would go with at the moment. That's the closest thing to a DJI drone that is still sold in the United States and not made by DJI in China. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. What does DJI make that doesn't use Wi-Fi or something that requires FCC approval? Or will DJI close all of its store in the US if it cannot get anything approved? The only thing that they are selling at the moment in their store, if you go, is the battery pack. They have the Power 1000 and the Power 500. And I think there's one more item, but their gimbals are all connected to Bluetooth, which requires FCC approval. and a bunch of other things. So all of that has been affected for sure. Can you fly a non-registered, no remote ID drone indoors for money? Example, real estate. Yes, you can do anything you want indoors. There's no FAA regulation. With that being said, your insurance company might want to know what you're doing indoors because they're the ones that are going to cover you in case something happens. But other than that, no, there's no FAA stuff. Is there any other countries trying to ban DJI, or is it just the US? Just the United States. That's it. And I mean that. Just the United States. Just the United States. I wonder if that's no, I'm not going to say it. Are you saying I can still buy an Air 3S if someone is selling one? Yeah, absolutely. You can. You can fly it. You can buy Air 3S, a Mini 4, Mini 5, and any other ones. Our CBP, U.S. Custom and Border Protection Officer, asking you if you have a Chinese drone that you are bringing into the U.S. When you drive or fly into the U.S. from Canada. No, but what they're not going to ask you if you have a DJI drone. They're going to ask you if you have anything to declare that you're bringing into the country. But they do that for everything and everything. I see people using the new anti-gravity A1 with the goggles and posting them to advertise their Instagram and YouTube channel. How can the FPV drone be used under Part 107 and be legal? You can use an FPV drone under Part 107 or under recreational rules if you have a visual observer with you. So you need to have a visual observer available and follow 107 rules if you fly under 107 or recreational rules, which all require to have a visual observer if you are flying FPV. So that's that. Is there a camera or conversion kit to make the Air 3S a thermal imaging camera? Not that I know of. You would need to have a thermal camera on top of the drone or at the bottom of the drone, and it would not be stabilized. You wouldn't be able to see the footage. I'm sure you could do it, but it would be quite the installation. Have you heard problems with customs if you have someone purchase a drone in Canada and ship it to you? No, it's just going to have to be declared as what it is. So, yep. If the FCC had written a rule that if anyone wanted to stop the import of new Chinese drone from being imported, then provide the proof, would they have to do so? Let me read that again. Had written a rule that if anyone would they have to do so? Yeah, but the FCC would never do that. Being imported, they would have to prove that they have done so. I don't know that I understand the question. If the FCC had written a rule that if anyone wanted to stop the import of, then provide proof. Yeah, I don't know that I understand the question. Maybe you can rephrase the question. December 15, and we have a full DJI audit. No, we do not. Glad that everything is covered and that US competitors are on par with DJI. That's not the case either. That's scary for the moment, but I'm glad it's all over. Yeah, well, I can read the sarcasm, but yeah, I'm with you. Have you heard why the government won't do the audit? I saw that DJI had requested this. I mean, you have to think about the optics of it, right? DJI, from day one of this audit requirement, has asked and asked and asked to have the audit performed because I think on their end, they feel comfortable that their drone would pass an audit. But the language that was written into the NDAA was vague enough that it did not mention a specific agency to do the audit. Nobody was forced to do the audit. So if you think about it, who in their right mind in 2025 is going to take additional work to do an audit of a Chinese company when, if no audit is done, they're found guilty? So there's no incentive for any of these, whatever it was, 10 or 11, there was a bunch of them that could have done the audit. There's no incentive for them to do this when there's a dead man switch at the end of it, where If there's no audit, then DJI gets banned or gets added to the entity list or the covered list. So, I mean, that's the entire reason. Nobody wants to stick their neck out and be the bad guy that's going to do the audit, find that nothing is wrong, have to tell the government, hey, guess what? Nothing is wrong. You can't ban them. And then all this money that was spent on lobbyists goes out the window. That's all I have to say. I'm selling a sealed Mini 3 Pro. Should I sell now or wait a few months? Do you see all of the pricing increasing? More of a shortage coming, like memory RAM shortage? Yeah, I mean, I do believe 100% that your DJI drone is going to get more valuable if it's in good condition, because it's going to be more difficult to get them. So yeah. If I take off from a mountain at 200 feet AGL, okay, and then go off the ridge, I am on the next level below. I'm 800 foot AGL. Am I legal? Illegal? Am I okay if I stay 400 feet from the side of the land? So if you did what you said, you would be 800 foot AGL. You would not be legal. The side of the land doesn't actually count. I wish it did. I see your logic. I wish it counted, but it doesn't. The only rule that there is with the 400 foot within is if there is a man-made obstacle. So if there is a man-made obstacle, 400 feet within that, you can stay and fly higher than 400 feet. But that's not the case with land. So I think it doesn't make sense personally. I always said, these rules were made by someone in DC that's never seen a mountain. Because here we have canyons, and if I'm within a couple hundred feet of the canyon, I should be able to fly, even if the canyon goes down, 1,000 feet or so, because there's not going to be a manned aircraft that's going to be flying within that close of the canyon. And if they are, I still have visual line of sight anyway. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yep, I'm with you. Have you looked at making your own FPV-based drone to make up for the DJI gap? I've seen an optical flow module that looks like typical FPV with GPS, DJI level stability. No, it's not really something that's core to our business. Our business is education, not drone manufacturing. It's difficult. It's difficult to create a product, sell it to scale, have parts, and deal with parts. This is just not what we created the business for. So our job is to help educate people. There are smarter folks that can do this, that can create FPV, but also you got to think FPV is not really the thing that people are looking for in mass. People are looking for a GPS drone that's stable with good image quality, that's affordable, that maybe has 2 or 3 lenses, and that's it. That's what people are looking for. So, yeah. Would you require your paid VO to take the VO course on your website when hiring? Yeah, absolutely. And I know I'm biased, but we designed this course to help folks understand what it takes to become a VO. So we train them on airspace, we train them on visual line of sight rules, we train them on the things that they should be doing. We had really good feedback from these folks. So from the folks that take that. So, somebody's getting hammered in the chat. Okay. Next, Amarok Cinematic. Can an item within the covered list be taken off in the future? So the covered list, the way that I understand it, and I might be wrong, but the way that I have been told, the company gets added to the covered list, not an item. So once you're on the list, then you no longer can get approval. Now, in order to be removed, which has happened, by the way, in the past, in order to be removed from the covered list, you Well, you could be removed from the covered list. Let's put it this way. And then in which case you would be again allowed to submit items for approval. So, yeah. Just passed my test. Davey of Colorado, 97 from your course. Congratulations, Davey. That is awesome. Can I fly a drone, Mini 4 Pro Potensic Atom, with the proper lights above my home at night to film fireworks as a hobbyist? Thanks for your answer. Yeah, you can. You can fly at night as a hobbyist as long as you have lights and it can be seen from a distance. So, yep, absolutely. Just make sure that you have approval to fly in the airspace if it requires approval. Whoever requires the audit should be responsible to have it done if no one offers. Well, the problem is that the people that requested the audit don't know shit from Shinola, so they wouldn't be able to do the audit. They just put that language in there knowing exactly what was going to happen and that they were going to not have anybody interested in doing the audit. And that's why they put the dead man switch in there, because otherwise they would not have put it in there. So, and you can say thank you to Miss Stefanik about this and to, what's his Robocop name in Florida, Rick Scott. Anyways, I need help. What should I do? I want to get my first drone, but I can't decide between the Sky Rover X1, Sky Any X1. I don't know what the Sky Any is. DJI Mini 4. What should I do? I want to get one before December 24th or 31st at least. I mean, the Mini 4 is definitely, if you can get one, I would definitely go for that. They are definitely available out there if you know where to look. But with that being said, the Sky Rover X1, if you can find one as well, is pretty much a Mini 4 in disguise. It's just yellow instead of gray. If you have your Part 107 license, what is the maximum size drone that you can fly? 55 pounds is the upper limit for Part 107. Any advice on flying a a DJI Flip in Spain? I mean, regulation. I do not know the Spanish regulation, but I know that Europe has more laxed regulation for sub 250 gram drones. I would definitely go look on the equivalent to the FAA website for Spain and then find out what they're saying. What's one drone capability that looks impressive in demo but routinely fails operationally? Ooh. That's a good question. I mean, it's not that extreme. It doesn't always fail or routinely fails necessarily, but I think obstacle avoidance has been gravely oversold because there are a lot of there are a lot of case scenarios where it just doesn't work because it's not able to pick up the signal. I mean, case in point, we've seen DJI drones that do really well typically with obstacle avoidance. I've been amazed with the ability to go over and around obstacles, even trees. But then you have that little branch that it's not able to pick up, or you have that power line that it's not able to pick up and it crashes in it. Arguably, even Skydio, which says that it has the best, obstacle avoidance out there. And they had a crash recently with a drone that caught on fire after the sun, got into the front sensor, which it just physically happens. It messes up with the obstacle avoidance because you have this glaring thing in your face. So it wasn't able to see whatever it was, a tree, and then the drone crashed and caught on fire. So if I had to say one feature, I would say probably that's oversold a little bit. And flight time, I think, is also one of these things that on paper always looks good, but in reality, but also we're at higher elevation, so we always have less flight time than is ever advertised. What's one drone capability? Oh, I just said that. Is there a way to reset a DJI drone that is bound to another account? Not if you don't have the password to that account. So you need to have permission from the owner. So either you found a drone and you're trying to get it reset, which doesn't work. You can't do it. DJI will not do it without approval from the owner. Or you bought a drone and it was bound to an account, and then now you need to unbind it. Then you need to find the original seller of that drone. Unfortunately, you cannot do it, cannot reset it. Maybe I missed it, but does the DJI ban apply to other lines like action cameras? I was assuming drones only. Anything that needs FCC approval, which means that action cameras are also going to be in that lot. The Ronin series, the DJI transmission system, which is amazing. We use it in the studio all the time. All of those, because they use the airwaves, are going to be FCC approved, which means that future models will not be able to be approved. Would you purchase a reconditioned Ronin RS Mini 3 if it fits your budget? I think we have a Mini 3. If you have a smaller camera, I mean, even for slightly larger cameras, even the Mini is actually really cool. It depends on what you're using it for, okay? If it's something that you want that's lightweight, that moves around quickly and is easy to deploy, you have a camera that's not overly crazy heavy, I would say yes, absolutely. I've had Ronins since the Ronin 1. I've had pretty much, I'm going to say, every single model of the Ronin since they came out. I'm pretty sure I've had every single model. And the original one, oh my God, was so heavy. And the Mini was, I think, a great addition for, again, portable cameras. If you have like a small like a small Sony type camera or something that's a little bit more, it's perfect for that. Even if you have, quite frankly, a bigger lens, it still will hold it. So as long as you look at the weight limit and it's within what you have, then I would say yes, absolutely. Do you think we will see DJI make near future models using that modular radio from the Neo 2 that's already approved, that might buy them a couple years of deliverability? I thought about that. So that would be a brilliant move. Time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know, but yes, I've thought about that when I saw it, because it has been approved already. It's a model that they could just continue making unless I'm missing something. But yes, they could absolutely reuse that model. Obviously, after a few years, it's a band-aid. After a few years, that technology is going to be obsolete. When I see the transmission system on the Inspire 2, for example, and that was like, 5 years? Well, maybe more than that. That was several years ago, but it's crap compared to what we have today. So I don't know, is OcuSync 4 going to be crap in 5 years? That's a good question. It's so good. It's so good today, but I guess we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't know what's coming up in the future. Just like 1080, when 1080 came out, looked amazing because we came from 720. And then 4K came around and you're like, whoa, 1080 looks like crap. Or even the first 4K cameras that we had, the Mavic 1 was okay, but it was soft. And so anyways, I don't know why I went on that tangent, but yeah, I hope they can actually kind of game the system by doing that, but we'll see. Would you turn off your drone sensors when flying over water? Yes, I would, especially the bottom sensor if you have the ability to do that. Mostly because, and by the way, I fly typically without the sensors on. I don't like the restriction of the sensors. I find it annoying when I get close to an object and it tells me I can't go there, and I know I can go there and I want to go there. I don't like being told what to do. So I just turn it off. But flying over water, what's going to happen is that sensor can, especially if you're flying close to the water level, the water surface, it can actually make the drone kind of descend because it doesn't know that the ground is there, because it doesn't sense the ground. So I would definitely be careful with that. I've seen recently almost every comment has something to do with DJI. Yep. Do you feel like you're repeating yourself every week about the ban and those regulations? Yes, I am, but I'm also cognizant that this is a major topic that people are worried about, and I want to offer the relief, if I can, that this is not going to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to suck. Okay. I want to offer the relief that it's not as bad as some people make it look. AKA, your former models are still going to be available, and things can change in the future. This is not, we're not frozen in time for the next 10 years with this. So I'm hoping that it sucks enough that people are very vocal with politicians, with the lobbyists that put this shit on this industry, that they're very vocal with them, and that they realize that they made a major mistake because they're hurting people. One can hope. I don't think these people have a soul, so I don't think that's going to happen, but one can hope. And yeah. So yeah, to answer the question, yes, I do feel like I'm repeating myself, but I also feel like it's kind of a necessity right now to get people educated. Are there more people or less people signing up for the drone classes? There is a bit of a drop in some of the enrollment in the drone classes. There is about level on some of the other, so it's not uniform across. But yeah. Sparky says Inspire 2 was 2016. I refuse to fly mine. I still one of my favorite birds, but you have an Inspire 3, so I would definitely fly the Inspire 3 instead of a 2. The transmission system could be better. I wish there was a way we could upgrade the transmission system for sure. Otherwise, just great platform. The ability to change lenses and just really cool. It does take a while to set up, unfortunately. Do you think it's possible DJI would start building drones in the United States? It is possible. I don't know what it would solve. I think I've talked about this before, but I don't believe that's the solution, because I don't think that's the problem. Let me kind of expand on that. DJI is being accused of being a Chinese company. Not much they can do about that. The owner is Chinese. He lives in China, and fabricating the drones in a different country does not solve the fact that he's going to be a Chinese citizen that owns a Chinese company that's located in China. So unless he sells his company to an American person that manufactures the drones in the United States, I don't think people are going to stop their narratives on that. So see, Sparky says virgin ears. You don't have virgin ears, Sparky. Would you suggest the GT3 drone for beginners? What's a GT3? There's only one GT3 that I know. It's not a drone. I wish it was in my garage. I don't know what a GT3 is. I know GT6 is never coming out. GTA 6. Do you think DJI will be forbidden to fly in the future? I don't. That's one thing that I really don't feel like is going to happen beyond not getting drones approved in the future. I do not believe the United States government will retroactively ban existing DJI drones. I have a lot of reasons to believe that, and I'm not changing my mind until I see it. Is my DJI Phantom 3 standard still a practical drone? I mean, if it still flies, the camera is not obviously on level with the new cameras, but if it flies and it takes photos and it's fun, go for it. Should I get a Mavic 4 Pro or not? Oh, that is the question, right? It depends. What do you have now? If you have an Air 3S, probably not. I mean, it depends. If you have a Mavic 3 Pro, probably not. If you have a Mini 1, yeah, absolutely. If you have an Air 2, then yeah, absolutely. Will Santa leave me a PI Polo? Well, unless you got a contract to work for us, then the answer is no. Might get a PI very special, one-of-a-kind shirt from the premium community if you're a premium member. But those are being made right now. Actually, I have one on my desk that I need to try today. They look awesome, but those are reserved for PI premium community members, and these will not be available for purchase. They will be a one-time shirt. So it's still time to join the community. You can ask Jillian how to do that. You can go to community.pilotinstitute.com. No, it's pilotinstitute.com/community. It will take you to the premium community page. DJI Neo 2 needs D-Log M. Damn, Sparky. I mean, that would be cool because that's a cool drone to fly. We're waiting for ours. Ours should be here in about a week. I think next week or so. Cool. All right. We are getting close to the end here. Any additional question? I guess we don't have time. Maybe one more. I really want to get into SAR with a DJI or Autel. Don't have the funds for M30T. While not apples to apples, how is Autel for entry level? I mean, Autel is a decent drone for entry level. Absolutely. So I would say you can't really go wrong with getting an Autel. Just keep in mind that everything we've talked about DJI happening to DJI is also going to happen to Autel because they are both listed on the thing. Okay, that's it. We are going to see you next week, we'll see you on Friday for news updates. Next week, we have a weird schedule next week because when is Christmas? Oh, it's on the 25th this year. Christmas is on Thursday. So, and I see all of you guys are off on Wednesday. So it's going to be Greg in the office, turning on the cameras, turning off the cameras, editing the footage to record news update. We'll get you news update somehow. Maybe it'll be on my cell phone in my shed. But thanks for watching. We'll be here Friday for sure with news updates. And then we have one more before the new year. And then that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.